Joining us now is Pete Aguilar, member of Congress, Democrat from Redlands, who just this past week was elected to the leadership of the majority party in the House of Representatives. He's the new vice chair of the Democratic Caucus. He joins us from Washington, D.C. So, Congressman, congratulations. We understand that you worked for this job. You got the support of your colleagues. It was a competitive vote. What did you tell the other members of the Democratic House when you got this job?
Well, I was just thankful for my colleagues, and I continue to be thankful for them putting me in this position. But what I told them was very clear, that, and they know me as someone who is a bridge builder, who works incredibly hard, and someone who brings members together to deliver results for our communities. I started on the Redlands City Council, and there weren't Republican potholes or Democratic potholes. We just had to get the job done. And so I'm no stranger to consensus building, and I think I applied that to the Democratic Caucus as well. We all come from different areas, but it's our responsibility to come together to deliver an agenda that's right for Southern California and for our country.
Everybody thought the House Democrats were going to pick up seats. You lost seats in this election. Why?
Well, we'll see these results, and we'll see when the data is crunched. We don't have the statement of votes, so we don't know in which corners of the communities these votes came from. But I think what was incredibly clear is that Southern California and across the country, voters showed up to vote against Donald Trump and for Joe Biden and California's Kamala Harris. So we're going to work as a Democratic majority. We're going to set our sights toward an agenda that's right for the American people, and we're going to do that with a friendlier administration. And I think that's a key. The president has not been supportive of California. He said that time and time again. So now we have an ally in President-elect Biden, and we plan on working with the administration to enact policies that are right for Southern California, and that includes COVID relief.
So there was a conference call of Democratic members of the House after the election. One of your colleagues, Congresswoman from Virginia, said, listen, I don't want anybody to use the phrase defund police ever again. I don't want anybody to use the phrase or the word socialism. She's implying that was the problem. That's why you lost seats. Did you agree with that assessment?
Well, there was a lot said on that call, and I should say that was a private call among members. But what I will say is, we all come from different districts, and so the district that Congressman Spanberger comes from is very different than the district that Congressmember Ocasio-Cortez comes from, and Congressmember Connor Lamb, who spoke to the New York Times about some of these issues. And those are very different from our districts, our many districts in Southern California, and so having an opportunity to understand where each other come from is part of what the Democratic Caucus needs to strive for. Is we need to understand that there are purple districts, and members have concerns in purple districts about our language and our tone. But it's very clear that when you step back and you look at H.R. 1, our first flagship bill, whether it's our bills on infrastructure or our bills to help dreamers and put them on a path to citizenship, the agenda that we're crafting is the agenda that Southern Californians and Americans most support, making those critical investments. But absolutely, are there ways that we can do that in a tone that doesn't, turn people off? Without a doubt. And we need to understand that, and we need to understand the districts that our colleagues come from and how that plays a role in the language that we use.
So, Congressman, the governor of California now is charged with replacing Kamala Harris, the incoming vice president. Her Senate seat is open. Considering the size of the Latino population in California and the fact that no Latino has ever served in the U.S. Senate from this state, is it important that the governor pick a Latino to replace Kamala Harris?
Well, I think that it's past time that California has a Latino senator. With 40% of our population being Latino, over 50% of students in our public schools being Latino, I think the time is right. That's a decision for the governor to make, and this is a governor who likes making firsts, and so I'm hopeful that he'll take that under advisement and appoint a Latino. But I think more broadly, there just aren't enough senators of color. So whether it's a senator who's African American or Latino, there's so much that upper house can do to try to achieve the level of diversity that the House of Representatives has, and it's long past time that they really commit to that.
Have you applied for the job? Would you like it?
No, I just asked my colleagues for a job, so I'm fine where I'm at. I'm just a kid from the Inland Empire, and I'm fine where I'm at.
All right, Secretary of State Alex Padilla has been mentioned. Javier Becerra, the Attorney General. Would they be your idea of who should get that seat?
Well, I've served with the Attorney General when he was in Congress. I would count Secretary of State Padilla as a close friend, and I think those are some amazing, capable public servants. But there's plenty of others as well.
So what is your policy agenda for your constituents in the Inland Empire?
Well, out in the Inland Empire, it's just like in a lot of communities in the greater LA area. We have people struggling with COVID. We have job loss as a result of lost shifts and reduced hours working. Those types of COVID relief issues are first and foremost and incredibly forefront of our minds. So addressing that for Inland Empire residents and Southern California residents is incredibly top of mind. But when we think of issues about affordable housing and homelessness, increased funds toward education, how we safely reopen and crush this virus and give our communities the tools to safely reopen, those are the priorities, and those are the issues of Inland Empire families.
Congressman Pete Aguilar, Democrat from Redlands, and the new vice chair of the Democratic Caucus in the House of Representatives. Thanks for taking the time.
Thank you so much, Conan.